Tasmanian tiger, thylacine. The Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, was declared extinct in the 1980s. The last known individual died at the Hobart Zoo in 1936. Yet thousands of sighting reports continue to pour in from Tasmania and mainland Australia. This animal was relentlessly hunted, blamed for attacking livestock, with bounties paid for each one killed, leading to the death of at least 2,000 individuals. What makes the Tasmanian tiger unique is the scientific effort underway to bring it back. In 2022, a major project was launched to de-extinct the thylacine through genetic technology. Using its closest living relative, researchers have made progress, including recovering RNA from a 130-year-old specimen. The Tasmanian tiger is not just an extinct animal, it is a symbol of humanity's hope and regret. Whether it still remains in the wild or not, the thylacine is on its way back through science. Ivory-billed woodpecker. This is one of the most debated birds in America. The ivory-billed woodpecker was believed to have gone extinct in the 1940s due to logging and hunting. But in 2021, when the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service proposed delisting it as endangered, they had to pause. The reason? Numerous experts and the public insisted the bird still exists. Since 1944, there have been many unconfirmed sightings and suspected audio recordings. In 2004, a video recording of a woodpecker in Arkansas sparked a major controversy, with experts deeply divided over whether it was the ivory-billed or the more common pileated woodpecker. Even new videos from trail cameras and drones released in 2023 failed to convince the majority of scientists due to blurry footage. Nevertheless, as long as the U.S. government has not yet made a final ruling, the ivory-billed woodpecker remains a symbol of hope for conservationists. Japanese wolf. The Japanese wolf was a small wolf species, revered as a guardian spirit of the mountains. It was declared extinct in 1905. The cause was rabies spreading, making them dangerous, and the government paid bounties for their extermination. However, even after the last wolf was killed, sightings continued to surface. One of the most famous events was in 1996, when a man named Hiroshi Yagi took pictures of a wolf-like animal in the mountains. There are even audio recordings of a howl that experts say is very close to a real wolf's call. Some experts think they might be feral dogs or introduced wolves, but others believe it is the Japanese wolf. Although their habitat has changed dramatically, the possibility that a small population of Japanese wolves is fighting for survival remains. All it takes is one clear piece of DNA evidence to overturn an entire declaration of extinction. Ground sloth. The ground sloth was a slow, giant animal that once lived across the Americas, believed to have vanished around 11,000 years ago. But deep in the Amazon rainforest, there is a mythical creature that might be living proof. Locals call it the mapinguari, a gigantic hairy beast said to protect the forest. It is described as having thick skin with bony plates like armor, identical to the ancient ground sloths that had dermal ossicles. There are even reports of the mapinguari extending into the 20th century. One man even claimed to have seen it eat his friend. Could the mapinguari be a surviving ground sloth, or are these just stories passed down from a time when they were still alive? The truth is likely more complicated. The Amazon remains an unexplored treasure. Is the ground sloth hiding deep within, or are we confusing it with another large animal? We still have no clear answer. Eastern cougar. The eastern cougar once dominated the forests of eastern North America, although U.S. wildlife officials agree that this population was eradicated by the 1930s. Thousands of sighting reports continue to emerge. Canadian government agencies take a more neutral stance, but there is no proof of a continuous breeding population. However, in 2011, a cougar hit by a car in Connecticut was confirmed by DNA analysis to have traveled over 1,500 miles from South Dakota's Black Hills. Experts say that such long-distance dispersals are typically made by young males. Recolonization requires females to establish new breeding groups, which has not yet happened east of Nebraska. The debate continues. Are these stray males, or are they remnant individuals of a species declared extinct too soon? If they return, a 2016 study suggested they could significantly reduce deer-vehicle collisions, potentially saving hundreds of lives and billions of dollars. Zanzibar leopard. The Zanzibar leopard was once the largest predator on Unguja Island, but conflict with humans led to a heavy price. Local people believed that witches kept leopards and used them to cause harm. After the Zanzibar Revolution in 1964, a combined campaign against witchcraft and leopard extermination was launched. The last confirmed sighting was in the early 1980s. However, the story is not over. In 2018, a camera trap on Unguja Island appeared to capture footage of a leopard. While some experts question the authenticity of the video and whether it was a native species, local people still believe the species survives in the deep forests. Did blind faith and a ruthless hunting campaign truly drive this animal to extinction? Or have a few individuals successfully hidden, continuing their struggle for survival in the shadows? Caribbean monk seal. The Caribbean monk seal was one of the most docile mammals that ever existed in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean. Their gentle and approachable nature was the very cause of their demise. From Christopher Columbus's second voyage in 1494, he noted killing 8 seals on a beach. By the late 1600s, they were heavily hunted for their blubber, which was used as lamp oil and to lubricate machinery in sugar plantations. The slaughter did not stop. Even in the late 1800s, scientific expeditions continued to kill dozens of them for museum collections. The last confirmed sighting was in 1952. Because they were gentle and didn't flee from humans when hunted, they were extremely vulnerable. Although there are still unconfirmed reports, scientists believe these are likely hooded seals straying from the North Atlantic. Carolina parakeet. The Carolina parakeet was the only native parrot species in the eastern United States. A vibrant bird wiped off the continent. The last known individual, named Incas, died in captivity at the Cincinnati Zoo in 1918. Tragically, it was the same cage that once housed Martha, the last passenger pigeon. The arrival of European settlers and widespread deforestation reduced their numbers. But their social behavior was what sealed their fate. When a few birds were shot down, others in the flock would circle back to protect or stay with the injured, making it easy for hunters to wipe out large numbers at once. There were still unofficial reports of a flock sighting in 1937 and 1938. However, no detailed scientific studies were conducted while the species was alive. Today, only about 720 preserved skins and 16 skeletons remain in museums. A grim ending for a beautiful bird. The great auk was a large, flightless seabird that once lived across the North Atlantic. The great auk served as an abundant food source for both Neanderthals and early modern humans for tens of thousands of years. They were simply too gentle and too easy to hunt. People could just herd them onto ships. Sailors even used them for oil and to lubricate machinery. The climax came in 1844, when the last 2 known great auks were killed on Eld Island off Iceland. The reason? They were slaughtered to fulfill orders from museums and collectors. As the species became rare, their eggs and skins became more valuable, which inadvertently accelerated their extinction. Despite some unconfirmed reports of sightings in 1852, no evidence was ever verified. The story of the great auk is a harrowing reminder that rarity itself can sometimes cause a species to disappear faster. Which animal on this list makes you believe it still survives? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. If you enjoyed this decoding journey, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Concise Explainer to discover the next mystery.